Most brands spend thousands on Instagram ads and get nowhere. They throw money at influencers, hire expensive agencies, and still struggle to build a real following. But this one, a small streetwear brand from LA, cracked Instagram's algorithm without spending a dime on ads and got so good at it that Louis Vuitton invested $1.8 million in them. So how exactly did Madhappy outsmart Instagram algorithm and build a community of millions of people? Payman and his 3 co-founders started Madhappy in 2017. They had no business plan and definitely no marketing budget. They launched online in April with just a few hoodies and some t-shirts and a hat, which is a position a lot of people find themselves in that are watching this video. But what happened next is something most brands completely miss. From day one, they started treating their Instagram like a personal diary. When they were sketching new designs, they'd post photos of the messy sketches on their desk. When they couldn't figure out how to fulfill orders properly, they shared that struggle too. They'd post videos of themselves packing orders in their apartments, looking exhausted but excited. I found this article from Medium where Payman talks about how they documented the process of building the company in real time. They weren't trying to look polished or professional. They were just 4 guys figuring things out as they went along, and they brought their followers along for every step of that journey. The founders used to spend hours every single day replying to comments on their posts, and not just with a quick thanks or an emoji. It was conversational. Someone would ask about the fabric of a hoodie, and Payman would literally write out a whole paragraph explaining why they picked that material, how it felt, and why it mattered. And if someone left a comment saying they were having a rough day, the team didn't ignore it. They'd actually respond something thoughtful, real encouragement, not a surface level comment. That kind of effort created something special. Their early followers didn't just feel like customers. They felt like they actually know the people behind the brand. So when Madhappy dropped a new product, it didn't feel like buying from some faceless company. It felt like supporting a friend. Their engagement was off the charts because people genuinely cared. They wanted to see the brand succeed. Before long, they had built this tight-knit community. People started calling themselves local optimists. These weren't just passive followers scrolling by. These were folks who felt like they were building it together. And that leads us to part 2, which was in-person events from the organic community generated. Madhappy did something that on paper seemed totally backwards, but turned out to be kind of genius. Most new brands spend years building on their online presence before even thinking about opening a store, and that is strategic and I'm all for that. But not Madhappy. Just 1 month after launching online, they opened a pop-up shop. Payman Raf explained that they didn't exactly have prime real estate or perfect timing. They just found a decent spot in LA and thought, why not? Hardly anyone knew what Madhappy was yet, but they figured they could create something cool even on a tight budget. So they threw an opening party, but it wasn't some overproduced brand event. It was more like a huge hangout. They invited everyone they knew in LA, plus their early Instagram followers. Over 600 people showed up. From a social media perspective, that party was gold. Every single person who came turned into a content creator for Madhappy without even realizing it. Think about it. You go to a fun party your friend invited you to, and of course, inside this day and age, you're posting about it. Stories, ad mentions, photos of the space, carousels of people vibing, all of it gets shares, right? And all of a sudden, Madhappy wasn't just showing up on their feed. They were showing up in the feeds of everyone at the party, and it didn't feel forced or promotional. It was real people having a genuinely good time. That kind of organic content, the algorithm usually eats it up. It's the kind of social proof you can't fake. That kind of word of mouth is priceless. Real quick, if your brand's solid but people still ain't really seeing it like they should, whether it's between drops, after drops, or when you're just trying to stay in motion, we need to talk. We help brands stay visible, get talked about, and build reputation the right way through people, not algorithms. I call it community strategy meets execution. We find the right people for your brand, show up where they're at, and make sure they see you, not just once, not just for a post, but consistently. So when it's time for a pop-up shop or drop, your name's already familiar. More eyes, more conversations, more recognition. That's how you build momentum. That's what we do. We're only taking on 4 brands per quarter. If you're serious about getting seen, tap the link below and apply for the waiting list today. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Appreciate that. Not to mention, on top of the engagement they were doing, it helped build and form a more stronger community that no one could ever take away from them. By 2019, Madhappy had done 11 different pop-ups across LA and New York, full-on community gatherings. The social media boost was huge. It only worked because the events themselves were genuinely worth showing up for, which leads us to part 3, which is finding the right content to post and content that actually works. Now, if you scroll through Madhappy's Instagram today, which is what we're doing right now, it's pretty clear they've cracked the code when it comes to content. They've got around 305,000 followers, right? That might not sound huge at first, but for a lifestyle and a fashion brand, that's good. Most of their posts get around 3,000 likes and somewhere between 25 to 50 comments. But let's take a look at how they use their content. Everything they post ties back to one core emotion, which is optimism. Their entire visual identity is built around it. Their feed is full of bright pastels and bright, joyful colors. It just feels good to look at. You can't scroll through without feeling a little lighter. And it's not just about the aesthetics. Their messaging is super intentional too. You'll see simple, calm phrases like local optimist or take care. Nothing feels preachy or overly branded. It's minimal, gentle, and always tied back to the core focus of their brand, which is on mental health awareness and optimism from positivity. These aren't random Pinterest quotes either. Every word reflects what they actually stand for. Their content makes it smart. It's not just product shots like most fashion brands. Instead, it feels like you're following a lifestyle, one that values connection, joy, and taking care of your mind. Now, one of the most powerful things Madhappy did, and something a lot of people overlook, was making the founders part of the story. From early on, they shared themselves, their own struggles with mental health, which is the reason they even started Madhappy in the first place. This kind of personal storytelling gave the brand a real human voice, one people could actually connect with. So when they posted on days like World Mental Health Day or shared handwritten notes about pursuing a better version of ourselves, it didn't feel like just another awareness post. It felt like it was coming from people who actually cared because they lived it. And that honesty, that vulnerability, it resonated. It connected with a younger audience who's tired of polished looking brands with nothing real to say. If you're someone who struggles with what to post, this is a huge lesson. You don't have to pretend to be polished all the time. Sometimes just showing up as yourself is what connects the most. People follow people. So when founders put their stories and even their bad days into the brand, it turns followers into supporters and supporters into community. This mission-driven approach is exactly what helped Madhappy build something deeper. It wasn't just about selling hoodies. It became about standing for something, for a bigger cause. And through it all, the brand stays visually consistent, matching their brand identity. Bright colors, clean photography, and a tone that's warm, thoughtful, and optimistic. It all adds up to something that feels not just curated, but intentional and personal. So if you're building your own presence and feel stuck on what to post, start with you, your story, your mission. Show up honestly, mix in your product, but you need to also include your value and the community whose attention you're trying to receive to build something that is real. That's what turns content into connection, and that's what this brand got exactly right. Now we will transition into paid ads. 2022, Madhappy had built such a strong organic community that they finally felt ready to dip into paid advertising, but they didn't go about it the way most brands do. Instead of blasting generic ads at cold audiences, the founders used paid promotion to amplify what was already working. They weren't trying to manufacture hype, they were scaling the real momentum they'd already built through the early stages of their business. Their first paid push was for the Madhappy and a guest collab, and it was a huge moment for them. guests gave them mainstream recognition, and they went all in with a campaign that featured celebrity stylist Vanita Carter and her family as the face of the drop. But here's why it worked. It didn't feel like a typical paid campaign. Their community was already excited, already talking about the value Madhappy provided for them, so it didn't feel forced. And when they boosted that content, people shared it organically. The algorithm picked it up and they began to scale. Around the same time, Madhappy started leaning into Instagram Reels and short form videos. Nothing like big production shoots either. They were simple, genuine clips. Stuff like employees packing orders, laughing, smiling, customers filming unboxing videos at home. Things that real people do because it was real. That kind of content naturally gets engagement and the algorithm always rewards it. But the real magic here was timing. They didn't rush into paid ads right out the gate. They spent years building a real community first, learning what resonated, listening to their audience, and posting content that genuinely connected. Only then did they use paid ads to scale the trust they'd already earned. Even when they did run ads, they didn't look or sound like ads. They matched the tone of their brand's organic content, the same voice, same style, and energy. The benefits of this is, instead of feeling like an interruption, the ads just felt more like Madhappy. That's why it performed so well. In October 2019, Louis Vuitton men's luxury ventures led a $1.8 million investment round in Madhappy, a 2-year-old streetwear brand that sold hoodies with smiley faces on them. Had caught the attention of the biggest luxury brand in the world. And Louis Vuitton doesn't just invest in anyone either. But what they saw in Madhappy wasn't just cool branding or quick sales. They saw a brand that had cracked the code on community, a company that had found a way to be successful on Instagram without relying on huge advertising budgets, a team that had understood how to build genuine engagement in a real community in a digital first world. As Payman Rav explained, the investment changed everything. Suddenly, they had access to not just money but mentorship, the kind of advice you can get from people who scaled global brands because they themselves actually brought something to the table. Since then, the heart of it has stayed the same. They continued doubling down on what made them different, which was human connection, transparency, and community. Now they just had more tools to go even bigger. Madhappy shows that in today's social media world, you still can't fake real community. You can't buy genuine engagement. They built trust by sharing real stories, showing up for their audiences consistently, and created content people actually cared about. Instead of chasing the algorithm, they focused on building something meaningful, and that's what the algorithm ended up rewarding. Try not to look for shortcuts. Create something real, and then people will want to be a part of it. Alright, y'all, this is Lee from North Studios. Till next time, I'm out of here. Peace.